In this episode of Let's Build This Wagon, the missing box sections arrived, therefore building the sides of the wagon could commence, and pretty much finished by the end of this episode. More welding and grinding as usual. Enjoy! Welcome to a new wagon build episode, and this is episode 4 now, I think. And in the previous one we did a lot of fabrication on the main frame and also on the bogie, which you can see right there on the table. And the big progress, or the big update yesterday, is I managed to get these small 10 by 10 sections from the local steel yard where I usually go to buy the materials. And I have purchased these from these before, but they didn't have stock since 2 months now. And the lady said that they have a supplier, but they haven't really ordered anything from this supplier, and obviously this is not something that they want to, send a truck to get stuff. And she was hoping that there will be some orders coming in, and then we kept waiting for that order, which never really happened. So they ended up ordering from a different place, or they have done something. So actually literally, I think I bought like 3 6-meter sections cut up in like a 2-meter section. So not that I'm a volume buyer for them, but anyway, she was nice, and I have these, and so I can start assembly of the sides, and this is what I've been waiting for. Let me spin the camera around so you can see what's going on. So these are the sections. So I have, I think, 9 of these 2-meter sections, or 2-meter length. And as I said, the reason this was really important, because I have already designed the sides, and these 10 by 10s should go here on the side like that, and here, and there's going to be a long section going all the way to the top. So everything was designed around this section. And I only found that the normal, sort of like the smallest size from box sections is 15 by 15. So 10 by 10 is not something that you can just buy any place. So anyway, if I had known this previously, I could have designed this whole thing around 15 by 15, because I don't think it would make a big difference, like, 2.5 mil here, 2.5 mil there. Visually it would have been pretty much the same. I think it looks better with these thinner sections now. And you can see it just fits in this cutout, or barely fits in this cutout. So it's going to be welded to, so the sides are going to be welded to this through these openings from the other side. So I can just grind this down, and it's going to be really nice and clean here. You're not going to see side welds here. Probably I'm only going to weld them here against the frame. So that's what's going to keep the side to the frame. And of course there is another section here for this end, and then the whole thing is just going to join together. So I think that's what I'm going to do today. The weather outside is a little bit cold, maybe there's going to be some rain, so I think I'm just going to use the space that I have here to fit the metal sew, and then just cut up those big sections into the smaller sections that I need here. I need a lot, I think 2 long ones, 2 medium ones. I need 8 stringers here and 18 stringers here. All of them are slightly different size, so just have to pay attention that I don't mess up. And the bogie is here. I managed to find a spare spring. I still have to buy the proper size spring here, but at least it shows how the whole thing is going to look like. And I also started to test the brake lever mechanism, which I still need to tweak a little bit, but more on that a little bit later. And the one thing I still need to do, if you remember the first video, I said that for the side steps, or the footrest, I had those 2 holes cut out in the CNC shop, and those are missing from here. So this is the side step, or sorry, the footrest. So I need to drill those holes out, and I think I need to buy like a proper drill for that. which can handle, I mean, this is 10 mil M10 holes, and this is a 5 mil material, so it's, you know, nothing extraordinary, but my normal battery drill is not going to cut it, so I need to invest one more tool to this project. But yeah, that's it. I think this episode is going to be mainly on fabricating the sides. Maybe I get some progress with the Bogie as well, but that should be all. Hopefully it's not going to take a long time. I mean, long time for me. For you, it's going to be anywhere between half an hour and 1 hour. So the thing is, I can't really see shit. So these ones look okay. Okay, that one, I managed to get it next to the hole. This one is nice. Look at these. Especially if I'm aiming the gun down, then I just shoot next to the thing. So I have to fix this. Okay, so I think it was a good thought because this one looks good. Here it's separated a little bit because I think what is happening is that in some cases the weld fills up the hole first and it doesn't really get to the second material. So you can see there is no, you know, colors here. It's only here. So it's, I mean, it's holding, but it's not perfect. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to probably, you know, stick weld it here. I mean, not stick weld, but I mean, I'll probably just tack it here and here. And hopefully we'll cover the gap with, I guess, with just paint, so it doesn't rust. But yeah, I will try to be a little bit more careful on the other side. And of course here for the other, you know, the box sections, there are bigger holes. So I don't think I have the issue here, but here I just couldn't have bigger holes because there is not enough. I mean, otherwise it would just see through. So yeah, I guess that's the lessons learned. So let me just fix that. Yeah, it's not nice, but at least it's hold the thing in place. So let me just do the same thing with the other side. Yeah, okay, I think this ended up being much better. Just probably move the magnets around as soon as I have some of the text done. And just make sure that the magnets apply pressure. Although, now, it's not good enough. It does stick, yeah, but this part is still off. Yeah, that one sticks, you can see the colors, but this corner did not. Okay, so I think next time I will use thicker material so I can have bigger holes. But let's see how these stringers will end up. But it's only one more to go, so there's no going back now. So I guess we just try our best. So I built this side, and the camera was running out of juice, so I couldn't record it. But I still have the other side to do, so I will be re-recording it now. And I came up with a technique how I can do this fairly easily. So hopefully the second one is going to take less time and it's going to be easier. Yeah, I mean, it's just a side plate and these box sections and a couple of handrails that I made yesterday in the evening. So yeah, nice. So I just aligned the side to the end of the plate, and that's it. as I said, it's much easier to fill up these welds than the smaller ones that I did for the doors and stuff. Although it's very difficult to get everything done, like, you know, sometimes I just leave some of the hole unfilled because I can't really see what I'm doing. I had some lights that I put up here, which are great, but then obviously the gun casts a shadow, my helmet casts a shadow, so sometimes it's difficult to see. You see? It's good. But now the tricky part, how do I align this upside down? So I figured that what I'm going to do is I'm going to score the middle of this box section. Which then I can see through the hole. And now it is time to add the handrails, and I'm going to use this block of wood as a spacer. I realized on this project how much difference 0.5 millimeter makes, because everything here is 1.5 mil. So this plate is 1.5 mil, and I worked with 1 mil plates before, and I mean, yeah, they warp. I mean, obviously there is a lot of heat introduced, but I mean, if you look at this is still pretty straight. I mean, yeah, I don't see, you know, any major warping on this plate. I mean, definitely not something that you would be able to notice from the side. So this looks perfectly flat still. And yeah, looking at these valves, I think I probably got the amps right. And this looks, you know, fairly stable. And it's going to be a heck of a job to grind all these valves down. But at least on the other side it looks decent. So this probably just needs degreasing, and then you know, it's ready for paint. So yeah, I'm quite happy. It's going to be, as I said, probably a good, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes spent on each side to grind those welds down. I mean, it's not big, it's not huge, but it's definitely going to take some time. And just one more thing. I mean, the first video was already a long time ago when I talked about the design. So the reason I added these welds here, because I am planning to, I mean, I have this extra plate which is going to go on the top. Ooh. Oh yeah, it doesn't slide on because of the welds here, but that is going to go on like this, and I think that's going to slide a little bit sort of like here, so that is going to hide those welds that are inside the corners. So you see that it have a few mils to go down. Yeah, so it will go down that much, and this has the, you know, welding spots on the top. So I can, you know, once this is ground down, I can just put this on, tack it from here. That's going to add some additional strength to the overall, you know, the top of the frame. It's probably going to be a little bit wider as well. It's going to be easier to touch. I mean, although this one is rounded as well, but there are some edges here. And yeah, and of course I can, well, you know, grind this down to a flat spot, and it wouldn't really be noticeable. So that's how the side is going to look like eventually. So cool. Okay, so I think yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. You see me putting in these door details, and then yeah, I continued in the evening, and I finished the side. So you can see that all the stringers are on, handrails, some grab rails here for the doors. I welded these from the same, you know, spots, just like on the other one, and I also did the corners here. So this should be fairly rigid. And yeah, so at least I know the technique now, how I should do it, what steps I should do, and you know, how I should fasten these. And actually I think one of the lessons learned from yesterday is yeah, I just usually put the plate on top of these box sections and then just rest on them, but I think I'm probably going to use clamps just to make sure that they are you know, pressed against each other, because I think in some cases there is, no, actually it's on, because oh no, right on at the end I think I see some minor separation of the two, the box section and the plate. You can probably see there. And since I'm going to put this U-shaped cover onto here, yeah, I have to make sure that those surfaces are touching each other, otherwise I'm going to have issues putting the top cover on, and that's not going to be great. So yeah, let me just do these sides. I might just do the time-lapse back, because I think it's going to be too, otherwise it's going to be just too long. So yep, that's it. Oh, my back is killing me. It's a little bit too low for standing, a little bit too high for sitting. And I think I need standing for the angles. But anyway, I think, I mean, you know, as usual, I mean, I make these way too big, so there's going to be a lot of grinding involved to get these flush. Of course, I don't care about these because these are not going to be visible. But yeah, I think it looks good. Rather ugly here, but probably is going to end up quite nice at the end. I realized towards the end, I think it was this one, that there is a slight bit of distance between the box section and the plate, so that's why I started using the clamps. But again, I don't think it should really matter at the end. So yeah. So now I need to make some handles here. And I also decided that I'm going to add some handles here, which I already did. So that's the end. I mean, usually there is like a step here. So like a brakeman can step on a step, which is usually here, and then grab the handrail here. And actually I started making these steps where they are. Where are the steps? Okay, so here they are. I ended up using the end of these false ceiling hangers. You see the loop, I just folded this over and I put a piece of basically plate. And I was thinking about putting it here. And I think it would look good, but my problem is that, so this extends down from the frame. So if I need to service this for any reason, I can't put this on the ground because then it's going to, you know, this is just going to bend into oblivion. So I think, yeah, I think I'm probably just going to leave it, not going to weld this on. It's such a small detail, so I think I'm just going to skip this. But I do like the handrail here, which I already did on the other. You see? I think that's nice. It's nice to add these very small details. They do add up. So, and also considering if I should do like a brake lever or something here, or the brake wheel. I mean, some of these details are going to be obstructed by the footrest, but I think the footrest is going to be more done here. So once I have everything assembled, I will see how much space I have, if it makes sense to add any more details here, or maybe I just do, you know, 3D printed details right at the end, like I did for the loco. Ah, it's too short. Okay, this looks better. So it should go like that. I'm going to bend it like here. Yeah, that looks good. And let's do it once more. And it is done. Yeah! So these are the other handrails that I made already. So that should go on here. I'm just going to eyeball this. Yep, that's good. Hoppa. Okay, I think this is done now. I could not really resist and I had to fit the various pieces together. Just hold by these clamps here on in the corners. But that's it's going to look like. Actually, it's much bigger than what I thought. I mean, it's really going to be, you know, quite big. And it feels bigger than some of my other wagons, although it is 5 centimeters narrower, because this is 40 and my other wagons were 45. So yeah, I like the handrails and everything and all the small details, and still there's only a few of them. I mean, like, I'm thinking about adding, you know, 3D printing some other details that are probably too small to fabricate, well, for my skills. But yeah, it looks nice. Obviously there's a lot of cleanup to do, all the welds inside, but at least you will see how she's going to look like. So yesterday the grinding stopped abruptly when my wife came home and she said that we need to take the kids to some extra activities. So anyway, I just finished the grinding now. It's I didn't film it. And I thought, this is the time, there is a chance that the thing is still not assembled, the pieces are relatively light, so maybe I should weigh them. So, I have a weight here, a scale I mean. So let me set you up and point down. And then we can see how heavy everything is. Okay. So the first thing is the bogie, which I think it is pretty much done already. I mean, there are going to be minor changes to this. Oh, sorry, yeah. I guess you aren't going to see much, to be honest, right? Hey. Okay, it needs to zero out itself. Damn, this is heavy. So it's 23.8, so 24 kilos. So the two together is, let's say, roughly 50 kilos. Oh, shit, that's heavy. Let's do the next big ticket item. So there's the frame. That's 30 kilos. So that's now 80. The two small sides. Ah, it's too light. Then, that's not going to work. Okay. So that's 14 kilos. So that's 94. Okay, I think, I mean, you know, roughly that's going to be 100 kilos. I mean, I have the seat. I don't think I would be able to measure the couplings and the buffer. So that's probably under the limit, which probably should be around 5 kilos for this scale. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not going to register. So anyway, around about 100 kilos. I thought it's going to be less. I thought it's going to be much less. Yeah. But here you go. vargacsomaggal. So I will CNC out the brake pads from this 6mm ply, and also another project for which I need a control panel. So I will do the two together. So this is the panel, and those are the brake pads. Now let's see. So I did not film the entire cutting because it wasn't that interesting, and I had to manhandle most of this cut myself because as you can see, I'm using these small screws in order to fasten the board down to the spoil board. But actually, because I'm using this for such a long time, it is not holding anymore. It's way loose. I mean, I'm using this very little screw, so physically I had to hold down the workpiece, otherwise it would just like flapping. And also I was a little bit too lazy to add tabs here, so when it was doing the last pass, I just had to hold it down, so when it's completely cut it doesn't start flying around. And I managed to suck this up with a vacuum, so I have to fish it out. I mean, of course I don't need these, that's fine. And yeah, I got a lot of burr here at the end of the cutting, so I'm probably just going to clean it up with the orbital sander. And I'm not sure if you were able to catch this, but then for this big panel I added 4 tabs. So here when it was cutting it through, you could see that it's lifting the spindle in order to leave a bit of a tab here. So this place stays in place, and these things should come out if they are fully cut. Yeah, so this is loose. Okay, so let me fish out the missing piece. And I almost forget, it's time to glue these sticks together. And yeah, so the idea was between in this design, as for each I have 3 pieces, so that's how it's going to go together. And so these are 6mm ply, which means that there is a 6mm gap here. So the 5mm, this brake rod or hanger, is going to go in between this slot, and there is a hole for this mounting to go to. So I think, well, I already know, I can already feel that this is like loose, which is good, because then I also added a little bit of curve in here, so it can rotate on these sort of hanger. So if that goes like that, it has a little bit of play, which I think it's going to help. So let's glue these together. I don't think it has to be super accurate. Oh, I should wait. Let me just find some bolts just to make sure that these holes are at least aligned. Oh, why is it? Wait. So this is supposed to be M6. Why is it so tight? Anyway, I can drill them out later. Okay. Hey, what's going on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, I only cut 6. No. No way. Damn it. I have to start again. Fortunately, there is some space here, so I think I can put this on. Probably just going to, I don't know, clamp it down, and then I can cut 2 more here, something like that. So I need 4 sets. Oh. Okay. I realize I need this much for one wheel, because 1, 2, 3, 4, but of course I need another whole set for the other wheel. So I need 10 of these and 4 more of these. I probably need a new sheet of ply. So let me give you another small update here, because I think a couple of weeks has passed since the last video. The weather is much nicer. You can see I'm wearing shorts and I mean t-shirt and shorts. And I've done couple of small things which I didn't record because I was mostly doing it in the evening, where there's, you know, literally there is not enough light, and the GoPro is not really good at you know, creating these footages when there is not enough light. I think it's like, this is probably like borderline the acceptable condition. But I have, and also I was on holiday. We spent a couple of days in Spain, in Barcelona, and yeah, I mean, it was a fun holiday with the kids and everything, but I managed to get some trains in that holiday as well. So obviously we took the train from the airport, and then we have seen a couple of different tube lines. I really enjoyed the different variety of you know, metro lines in Barcelona, the L1, which is broad gauge or Iberian gauge, and you can feel, you know, how big that train is. And then all the others are you know, standard gauge. And then we took a day trip to Montserrat, and that is a meter gauge electrified you know, mainline railway, and also, you know, the cogwheel train going up and the funicular going further up. So it was a lot of different trains, and yeah, it was loads of fun. So things that I did, let me actually grab the camera, I can show you. So I invested into a new drill, this Angel, whatever, TCID 720. Nothing fancy, it's a corded drill, but it is it's going to be great use occasionally when I need to drill something which the, you know, the normal battery one would not you know, would not do, because it just, like, you know, bigger jobs. So one thing I needed to do, if you remember these footrests, and I was missing the holes on one side, so I drilled those out. So these are M10 holes in a 5mm stock. I also drilled these small holes because I found these in the hardware store. So this is like you know, for taps. It's plastic, but it looks like a brake wheel. So I think it's going to go here, and it's just going to be just for decoration. It, you know, it's a nice small details which is going to add some character to the to this wagon. So we have the foot rails on both sides, and I even invested into some new drill bits, because the one that I have in my Bosch set was well, not really good. But I think everything else here is done. And what I have done on the bogies, well, it's still just one, is I had a trip to the spring store and I bought this. I don't remember the exact dimensions, and I couldn't buy one which is big enough for this holder. So this is significant, well, not significantly, but I think this is 50 mil, and this is only 35 by, I think it's 35 by 85 by 4 mil or 4.5. I'm going to overlay it. I took a note of it, I just forgot. So these are going to be the springs. Don't ask me how I'm going to install this, because this is beefy. So I obviously, I don't have any special tools to compress the spring to put this in, but yeah, that's going to be a, I think that's going to be a real struggle, especially once this is painted, because this is going to get scratched up. I can't really do anything about that. And not to mention, I mean, normally you would just slide this in, but obviously I would have to weld something here just to keep the spring centered. So that's more, you know, stuff here that I have to push the spring through. So even less space to work with. But yeah, I mean, I think this bogie is not really assembly friendly. Let me put it that way. And the other thing I've done is I drilled another hole further in, because this is where this will sit, and obviously the bolt head on the other side would interfere with the top of the spring. So I put this into the center of the spring. So I think on the top that's going to be the, so this M6 is going to be the centering ring for the spring. I mean, it should be good enough. This shouldn't really go anywhere, to be honest, but I want something which is going to hold it in, at least to some extent. So anyway, so these things are going to sit a little bit further in. So this was the original position, and now they're going to sit here. So yeah, that was easy. And the other thing is, I started making the brake shoes. So, well, I have the footage of CNC cutting these, and I made the rest of them. So I have 4 here, which goes to the second bogie, and I have, sorry, that's 5. So 1 here. So as you can see, I have installed these, and it's on this hinge piece, the this lever, and I started assembling the other one. So basically it is a 5 mil steel, and these shoes are made of 3 different parts of 6 mil, so it fits in between the steel plate. You can see the 3 different parts. I'm not really sure if plywood is going to be, you know, it's probably not the best material for this application, but I think it's going to be good enough. I mean, you know, for the first thing, and if it's really lousy, I'm just going to replace it with hard rubber or something. But I had this in hand, I can CNC cut these, so it was easy to manufacture. And if you remember from the plan, well, the first video where I had the 3D drawings, is that I have these brake hanger here, and I have this other brake hanger here, which has this very long extension, and I can clamp the sleeve of the cable to this part, and then the head to this part, and this will, you know, act as a brake. Actually, let me change to my tripod. Okay, so I think this is the best camera angle that I can do, and so hopefully everything is going to be visible. So I have the cable here, the sleeve, and this inner cable. So if I pull on this, then you can see that this brake lever moves inwards. And of course this one also moves inwards, but because this has this long lever, and actually this is also, you know, a fairly heavy piece, it moves obviously much less, and I really have to apply a huge amount of force in order to move this. And yeah, this is not good. Well, it's not ideal. So on the original drawing that I had, well, sorry, not drawing, but on the photograph that I used as a reference, which was on the, I think it's the Minimal Garden Railway forum on Facebook. So Colin had a very similar arrangement, but this hanger and this long piece was not one piece, it was actually two different pieces, and it was not connected rigidly together just like on mine. So obviously his design was much better, and I didn't really understand the difference, like why do you need this and the forces and everything. So I designed it in one piece, which I shouldn't have in retrospect, but we are learning all this stuff. So I think the plan is that I'm going to cut this off here. So I get rid of this long piece, and I will still have the end of the cable secured to this hanger, and the sleeve is going to be secured to this hanger. So the weights are on both of them are going to be the same. So the force is going to be equally distributed. So when one pulls, then the other, brake hanger is going to move the equal amount. So I would hopefully have the same brake pressure on both of the wheels. And the reason I'm doing this because, anyway, I just only have one shoes on one side. So I thought at least I should have, both wheels have some brake at least, because I'm just not really sure if one wheel is going to be enough. And since I have both of them, at least I should, make them make both of them work. The only reason I'm slightly bit concerned, because obviously we will have the cable running all the way from here to here without any protection. So if anything catches on that cable and pulls the cable, then obviously it would engage the brakes. I'm not really sure. The likelihood of that happening, I don't think it's going to be great, because even if the brake is released, this cable, I'm using this thicker cable. I bought it in the bicycle shop, and I think it has, a decent amount of tension anyway. So I don't think it's really going to sag and catch in, whatever is on the track. Worst case scenario, maybe I can put like a hanger here, which is going to keep this sort of like level, so it wouldn't allow it to sag. But I think in the beginning, it's just going to be, just cable going across here. So it is sort of like halfway between, it's not even halfway, it's like that. So there is like plenty of space between the bottom of the wheel and where the cable is going to go. So I'm hoping that's going to be enough. So that is going to be the job for today, cutting these, drilling 2 holes here so I can have a plate sitting on here, and then just wedge the sleeve or the shroud of this Bovden cable.
3 weeks later.
And let me give you also an update on the, how I work on what I'm progressing on the brakes. So here what you can see is hopefully the final implementation of the brake. Within the Bogie. So obviously the wheels are missing now, but at least you can see better how it looks like. So this is the original linkage, which has the cable connected to it. And on the other side, that's the linkage where I cut off that vertical part, like T part. And I've fabricated this bracket, which basically just pinches down on the shroud. And this actually works. Okay, finally I have a camera set up, which actually I can do hands-free. So you can see the 2 not levers, these are like brake hangers, and also the brake shoes, you can see them here. So obviously the idea is that they move inwards like that, and I think it works. So these are sort of the release position, and if I pull, then they move in. I can't make the obviously the way I move it is probably just, it moves one of them sooner than the other, but once one of them starts touching the wheels, it will start pulling the others in anyway. So yeah, it is working. So obviously if this is restricted, then the other moves in. So the mechanism is right, it is definitely going to work. And the only thing I still need to figure out is what's going to be the brake mechanism on the other side. And I don't have anything drawn yet, and probably I have to do all these components myself, just scratch build them. But in order to apply the brake and then make sure that the brakes are applied, I probably have to come up with some side of ratcheting mechanism where sort of like it locks in, and there is like a pin which I need to disengage in order to release the brake, like how you do on a handbrake on a car. You have to push the button and then you push it down. So probably I have to do something like that, because otherwise I need to work against the the tension of these brakes. And if I want to make a good enough braking force, then most probably I need to make it sure that I can pull on this cable really hard. And yeah, but at least this part is done. So I have everything. So I had to drill a couple of holes. I had to make this basically just a small plate with 2 holes which pinches down on the cable, on the shroud. So nothing complicated, but at least this is done as well. So once I have a chance to do painting, everything for the bogie is now ready. So this can be sent to painting, and well, it would just wait for final assembly whenever that happens. Okay, I think the next is more like a Lego time, trying to fit the sides, align them, so they should be ready for welding. I think I'm going to weld the sides on before I do, sorry, the short sides on before I do the long sides, because then I just have a little bit more space with the welder. And I designed these so that this plate sits on the edge here. So the 10 by 10 is again flush against the outer surface here. And this looks good. And then and the sides are basically again just butt up here. and the ribs of the sides is going to go against the side here. And I think it does. I just want to double check again. Yeah, because that sits against that. I mean, there is some bowing in here due to the welding, but yeah, that should be it. So I think I'll try to center this as much as I can, and I'm just going to weld this on here. I'm using 70 amps here because after all this is 1.5 mil, but I think it is holding well enough. Oops. I'm certainly not going to win any beauty contests, but I thought that some of them are a little bit cold, so I went over again. And I don't think I will be able to grind these times, so probably this is going to stay like this. Okay. Ooh, man, everything caved in like that. Oh. Already it's third year. I mean, these welds ended up much better than these here. I switched up to 80 amps and I think that helped. And of course, I mean, these, it's the same material here. I mean, you are welding a very thin one to a very thick one, so I think that's probably also the reason why they ended up, you know, pretty bad. probably I'm just going to use putty here in the seams and then just hide it. And no one will notice that that's very sturdy. Wow. Okay, this piece already feels a million times sturdier. I mean, there is some wobble here because I need to still tack these points here, but overall it's looking good. And as I said previously, if you look at these valves, I think they are reasonable-ish, well, for me. But these ones down here, they look uglier. But it holds. I think these are definitely bad. But then the vertical ones are better, much better. And yeah, I think overall it looks very pleasing. And if you look on this side, I think the fact that there is color here means that there is good penetration, I think. Actually, I'm thinking if I should maybe tack these here. Probably I will, because then it's going to you know, fix this rib down to this thick plate, and maybe also do a little bit of weld here as well, especially here. It looks a bit off, there is a bit of a gap. Yeah, but definitely I have to fill up or fix everything down here. So this especially, you know, it's bent, so all needs to be secured and tacked from both sides, and then it's going to be fine. And I think that's going to add some extra rigidity to the whole side, because remember, there is going to be some stuff here, so I will be sitting on top of this, so it has to be, you know, decently stable and rigid. I'm a little bit concerned about these corners. So I mean, it's not because what I did now, but previously, because again, I didn't press this plate against these ribs, so there is a bit of a gap. So how I'm going to fit that U channel on top of these, that could be a little bit tricky. It looks like there's a bit of gap here as well. Hopefully I can hide that with that channel. Maybe bend the channel out a little bit. I think probably I can grind a little bit down from this plate. And yeah, that's what it is. It is looking much better in this corner. And this one as well. Okay, let's flip her and then we can do the sides. Oh, it is done. So I would have been happier if I don't have to do these welds, but it's hard to, show this in the video, but it is so much sturdier than before. I mean, it has given so much strength. I mean, these are not big welds, but it's like basically every, 20 centimeters? So it really adds up, and you can see they're definitely not good. But, I mean, I find this difficult to weld these very thick and thin material together, but I think I managed to at least hold it. I mean, it's not nice to see, and I don't really have the equipment to grind this down, so I think it's just going to stay like this. And I realized that it's much easier having the clamps go up, because then there is less obstruction for the welding head to get into the corner. So I think this side ended up much better than the other one. I mean, in terms of quality and everything, but man, this is looking good. I'm so happy about this. And check this out. The profile for the top fits. I had to grind a little bit here and then a little bit off here, but it's basically on. And it looks like I can push it down with these clamps like that, just to make sure that they are, butt against the top rail. So I think, why not weld it done, and then it's going to be pretty much done. I mean, of course, with the accessories and everything, but the main chassis is going to be done. So probably do this as a time lapse as well, because it's these two small dots that I have to go through, and of course the corners, just to lock it down. Yeah, and I definitely have to push this down. It's a little bit in the air, but otherwise, yeah, it's good. So I'm really happy with the progress today, and I did pretty much everything that I wanted, well, except a few things, obviously. So tomorrow it's basically grinding all this down, making these surfaces flush and smooth, cleaning up the corners. But yeah, I mean, it looks good and it looks finished, and there isn't an awful lot that I wanted to add to this. So it was a good progress made today. Obviously, one thing I forgot is I wanted to weld the spring seats to the spring arms. Oh, that's for the bogies, and because it was on another table, I completely forgot. So probably I'm going to leave the welder out and leave the car outside for today, and I can complete that tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be grinding tomorrow anyway, so there is going to be a lot of work that still needs to be done. So yeah, but this is looking good and I'm quite happy. So I think that's all going to be for today. Well, for today for me. So this is what I forgot to do yesterday. So that's the spring plate, this round piece, and that goes into this arm, which is going to push the two bearing blocks down. I have the other one here. So yeah, so obviously these two pieces needs to be welded together, and so the spring goes in like that. And I thought I'm just going to use these two washers stacked on top of each other, and that goes in here. So that is going to be some sort of like a locating point for the springs. I'm not really sure. I mean, what to call it. I don't think this is going to move anywhere, but anyway, I think it's better just to have some sort of constraint for this spring if it wants to move for whatever reason. And yeah, so I think I'm just going to tack it from the top, and probably not to fill the weld all the way through, just to make sure that the spring sits flush. I mean, it's going to push this on center, so I don't think I need a lot of weld to keep this in place. And I can also weld it from the underside. Only one side, because on the other side it's going to slide against the side plate. So obviously I don't want any weld there to interfere with that. So yeah, it should be easy. So we have 4 of these. So let's do the first, and then I will do the rest off camera. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's solid. Okay, I think I am ready to apply some putty. And I mean, anyway, it's going to take some time for it to harden. So let's just do it. I just need something. Yeah, this board to work on. Doesn't go as far as I thought. It starts to harden already. Okay, but yeah, that's it. Let's continue. decided to wrap up this episode here because I think I made a fairly good progress in the last couple of weeks. I think about 1.5 weeks has passed since the last video where I sanded down the putty here. And yeah, there was one more bank holiday, so again, I wasn't really doing much. I did small bits and pieces off camera, which I'm going to show you. But most of the main, welding job is done. Most of the big fabrication is done. And to be honest, it's, it's early May. So it's probably time to get this project wrapped up. Painting is going to take a long time. And I haven't even played with the Gauge 1 trains outside because I was just, spending so much time on this project, or most of my free time on this project. And every year I tell myself that, okay, this year is going to be Gauge 1 stuff. I'm going to be spending more time on Gauge 1, but I always end up doing something in 7.25 inch gauge. So, well, I'm not going to say it again that I will not do, not to mention that there is another project. So when I was ordering the steel for the wagon, I also ordered this because I want to do more station lights, platform lights for Gauge 1. This is also made out of steel. And this has been sitting here for 3 months, 4 months now. But yeah, that's how things go. That's how these things go. So let me show you the things that happened since the last clip. So let me turn this around. And well, this really happened on the last clip, but I just wanted to show you the end result. It is not perfect. I can feel it, but it's way better than what it was before. So it's nicely sanded down. So whatever you see is hopefully just the actual filler material, which is filling up the holes and the gaps and everything. You can still see some of the weld spots, but it looks nice. It feels nice. So that's where, this is how it's going to end up. I also managed to sand down all these inside edges, and it's the paint is going to tell whether this was any good. Probably I'm going to see this after the first coat if these weld spots are visible or the putty is visible. But for the touch it feels like fairly smooth, so hopefully it's going to look good after the paint as well, not to mention all those weld marks. Actually, I'm thinking maybe I should apply some sort of texture to this inner surface, so that's going to hide the small imperfections which is caused by welding. But we'll see. I'm not really that fussed about the aesthetics. Next thing is I have the two controllers here. So this is the, the speed controller, and the other one here, that's for lights and everything. And the idea is that I want to have a bracket here at the end of the wagon. So something where, a place where I can put both of the controllers down. Most probably I'm going to pick this up when I'm driving, but the other one is probably going to stay input. So I just want to have a place where I can put it, it stays in place, it's not going to slide around. And as you can see, I already started cutting, box sections and these small pieces like fingers to create a sort of a cradle for these two. And I haven't really decided how I'm going to mount this. I don't want to make it permanent. So I'm thinking that maybe there is going to be like C-clamps that can clamp on the side of the wagon. So if I want it, I can take it off. I don't have any C-clamps. I don't know where to buy them. I only found them on, Temu or AliExpress. So probably I need to order them because it's going to take some time until they arrive. So this is one of the small things. So that is pretty much what's outstanding. And I think we have some fairly bad weather and rainy days now, but as soon as the good weather comes back, I probably should start painting this, because it's going to take a couple of coats, well, definitely 2 coats for sure, but then based on the size and the awkwardness of this whole tub, I think I probably need to do like 4 different coats, because the underside I mean, I have to flip it upside down for, you know, first and second coat, and then flip it around for first and second coat of the inside of the tub and the upper part of it. So it's going to take some time, and probably, you know, wait a couple of days between them to allow it to dry. And everything up here is going to be brown, and the bogies are going to be black. So again, that's a different mix of paint and a different batch, which I need to do. But yeah, that would be the plan probably for the next episode. And whenever I have the materials, I will start assembling the cradles, or the sort of the docking station for these controllers. And with that, hopefully we are going to be ready. So that's the plan. Probably that's going to be coming in this you know, series of videos. If you are interested, then yeah, you can subscribe, and you can also join to this new Patreon program that, not Patreon, but the membership program that I set up a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I think that's all going to be for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one.